What is going on, everybody? Welcome to DSM Media's live tailgate special edition of the Sixers Game 4 versus the Washington Wizards. You guys can't see it, but we are right outside of Xfinity Live right now, and this is different. I'm here with my man Scotty. Give him a follow at Scotty Drowned. Here with my man George, one of the co-hosts of the Faithful Fanatics podcast. Go give him a follow at _George Ryder, and my man JD, who is the guy behind all of this technology, this entire setup. So go give him a follow on Twitter as well. JD, I don't know what the hell your ad is, but it's something long. DDS is at the I don't know.
It's like JD Oracle _ DDS.
There we go. So go give him a follow on Twitter.
It's on the bottom too.
So guys, what's going on?
Confident as could be. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I already got the.
You already got. You brought a broom. That's how we're feeling. So.
I was sweeping the sidewalk. They were looking at me sideways. Like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited to finally get together in person. You know, we're switching it up. Not just doing your typical StreamYard link, Zoom meetings. We're not doing any of that. It's all in person today. We're out here live. So I'm just happy to be with these guys.
Yeah, man. And then if anyone's getting down here, come join us, come hang out, come join the show, and then come in Xfinity Live with us and watch the Sixers sweep the Washington Wizards, because that's all that's going down tonight.
We got a comment from Abe Link. He says, "Damn, fellas, I'm sorry I couldn't be there. Hope it turns out great. I'm definitely making it out to the next one." Yes,
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe never tells a lie.
Never tells a lie.
I'm a little disappointed that he couldn't get his ass down here, but it's all right. Our man Phil apparently didn't call out of work. He's his own boss. I don't know what's going on, but
Just trying to avoid a divorce.
Aren't we all?
All right, well, let's get down to business, guys. JD, I'll throw this to you first. What's your initial thought heading into Game 4 tonight? Look, man, the one thing that's been on my mind the last couple of days, ever since Game 3, really, is we've been saying it all year that this team is different. This team feels different, right? And as cliche and as corny as that can sound, we've been hoping that that's the truth. Now, while the Sixers are much, much, much better and more talented than this brutal Washington Wizards team, ideally, theoretically, it's a sweep. But the fact that they're actually doing it, round one, they're taking care of business this way, is something that I honestly didn't think. It's what should happen, but wasn't going to happen. And the job's not done yet. We're only up 3-0, so they have to finish that out tonight. But they're different, man. That is my biggest takeaway so far.
I mean, I've always been a Sixer fan. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm from the down south, but I've always been a Sixer. And I think I read it was 1980 was the last time the Sixers had actually swept somebody in a 4-game series, 4 games down about it. So this is a monumental moment for the Sixers. Not only a monumental moment for the Sixers, but what we're trying to do. And it all started with the hiring of Doc Rivers and Morey. Everything honestly, at the end of this, we can attribute all this to Morey. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news for everybody that thought this was going to end. But if the Sixers pick up a dub tonight and we go to round 2 and we keep this thing going, you can stop saying people are getting rid of Ben Simmons and they're going to break this crew up. The crew stand together, and we're going to get strong because people are going to want to come to Philly to play. So, yeah, I'm excited, man.
I agree, and it's just, I don't know, man. I look at this team, and the fact that multiple guys have done it so far this season. Game 1 was Tobias Harris game. Game 2 is the Ben Simmons, 22-point, almost triple-double or whatever. And then you get to Game 3, and Embiid, as I remember, it was almost halftime. Someone was like, he's at 23. I'm like, 20? How does he have 23? He wasn't that dominant in the first half. He gets a new career playoff high. And that's just the biggest thing, is seeing these young guys, seeing a 26-year-old Joel Embiid, seeing a 24-year-old Ben Simmons. They've been a very good regular season team since they've come together. They've won 50-plus games every single year they've been together, or just about there, outside of the COVID issues last year and all. But the struggle has been that second round. And obviously, yes, this is the first round. I'm well aware of that. But to see them handle business as they should is a difference maker for me.
It's huge. Yeah. It's and you've gotten contribution from every single one of your starting 5 in a big way this whole series. And it's if they just go out there tonight, foot on the gas, stay consistent, do exactly what they've been doing this entire series, this is going to be the easiest game 4 sweep ever. Like, we should be able to go out there and cruise like we have all series.
Scotty, let me ask you this. Like, I'm looking at tonight's game. There's no way that this Washington team can steal a game. We watched the Boston Celtics steal a game against the Brooklyn Nets, right? The almighty Big Three, right? They stole a game at home. This Wizards team is brutal. And Russell Westbrook is a game-time decision tonight. But he's been terrible the first 3 games of the series. All they've had has been the offense of Bradley Beal, and that's cute. You can give me your 33. You can go. If Bradley Beal wanted to go score 55 tonight, it still ain't going to be enough. Now they're starting Daniel Gafford tonight. Is there any way Washington can find a way and will themselves to a win, or is this series a wrap?
No, it's a wrap, man. And I told everybody this, hey, pass the broom around, man. Because I told everybody after game 1, the way the Wizards lost that game 1 matchup, that was their chance to steal one. That was it right there. You had a game where Tobias was carrying the load, Embiid was in foul trouble. That's your opportunity, right? If Embiid, Ben, Tobias are playing, they don't stand a chance. You look at everybody outside of Beal. You mentioned it. Russ is not playing well. He played well in game 3, but you saw what that meant. Nothing. It means nothing when those two are the only ones going off. And then you look down their roster. Who's their third best player? I asked these guys that before this game. Who is the Wizards?
I think it's Rui.
It's Rui Hachimura. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
The pride of Japan.
jeez.
And what does that say about your squad? So, they came into this series. Everybody was saying, I even had it at a 5-game series when we started. After that first one, I knew it was a sweep because that was the one chance. And this Sixers team is rolling. You guys mentioned it. The starting 5 is rolling. The second unit has came in and held the lead the last 2 games.
Who the hell would have thought that?
Who would have thought that? Our second unit's been out playing their starters.
I told you. I told you this from the beginning.
On the train.
The name is not something it was given to me. Like, Doc has been preparing this bench all season to do this. Like, they've been playing more minutes than any other team that hasn't had play bench players. He's been playing. I mean, the only person in the bench that I think deserves to be out of it is Shake now.
Yeah.
But Maxey had growing pains, but he kept them in. He kept putting them in. Like, we've watched it all season.
Let me ask you guys this, because I've been very critical of Shake. I've even been critical of him all year long. And while the game is playing out and you're seeing him struggle, and you're seeing him struggle to score, you're seeing him struggle to take care of the ball, everything like that. He comes in, it's just like an immediate negative impact. So I'm screaming for him, get him off the floor. Like, I'm done. I'm over it, right? But, that's great because you can afford that against the Washington Wizards. Where do you guys stand with Shake right now? Because, like, against the Brooklyn Nets team, against the Milwaukee Bucks team, okay, yeah, it's all fun, and I believe that Tyrese Maxey has earned, he's playing well enough to where he should be playing over Shake at this point. But do you think we need Shake scoring off the bench versus the upper echelon of the East? Like, is it okay? I'm done with Shake. He's awful. Next, right? Or is it he needs to play through this slump because we need his offense later in the postseason?
Well, like, the bench is only going to get shorter.
Yeah.
So, like, if Maxey's playing like he is now and Shake is staying as inconsistent as he is, like, Maxey deserves to get those minutes, right? That's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah. And I think where I'm coming down to it is, so once you get to the Brooklyn or the Milwaukee series or even the Atlanta Hawks, whatever fits best, it's all going to be matchup based. Shake is a better spot-up shooter than Tyrese Maxey. So if you need shooting to space out the floor, if you're going to let George Hill run that second unit, then I feel like Shake still fits in that role. You just don't want him handling the ball at this point. You want him playing off the ball.
I don't know, Scotty.
But I get it, because then at that point, when you're talking about spacing the floor, is Korkmaz a better option than Shake Milton?
Oh, dear God.
Shorter rotation. Listen, it's a serious question, though. He shoots the ball.
Like, he's a guy that will shoot the ball.
So, I agree with you as far as a spot up shooting, but, like, Korkmaz some games is the only person who isn't afraid to shoot the damn ball.
That's 100% right.
He's like, it's like they took, like, Steph Curry and all them, they're so afraid to shoot and make a mistake. Korkmaz is like, dude, like, I probably never get this opportunity again.
I swear.
I'm going to get in and light it up.
He's not afraid.
He's got to shoot it. We should change his name to Korkmaz Got to Shoot It. Like, he just has to. If he doesn't shoot it, he's not in his right mind. So, yeah, I think I think that Shake has now put himself in a shaky situation, so to speak. See,
I
I did
like that.
He's done it, and there's nothing else that we really can do. He can't go back in. His confidence shot, man.
Yeah.
Man,
He's the Markel Fultz of this thing.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry,
crazy.
this is very off topic, but the things you see in Philadelphia, I'm a little distracted as some guy just popped a wheelie on a bicycle all the way down Patterson Ave with red gloves and a cutoff on. I don't know what's going on down here.
So I got to throw this out here real quick, and I don't want to cut you off. We got one from Abe Link. He's coming in with dropping some.
Honest Abe.
My biggest concern is the hypothetical Maxey is too young for the playoffs, and he just starts sneaking it up. Like, then we're going to need Shake.
I think everyone at this point that's not in the starting five, it has a short leash.
Yeah.
It's a game-to-game leash. I think. I don't think you're going to see Doc have a short leash where Shake is struggling and he's out of the rotation. I think from game to game, he's going to try different matchups, different rotations. And, if you go out and you produce and you're playing well on either side of the ball, if you're contributing, your leash gets extended. So if Maxey, if the age does start to show against, say, Brooklyn, against Milwaukee, hell, in round 2 against, what seems to be like it's going to be the Atlanta Hawks, I think his leash, he gets pulled back to the bench, and then you see Shake inserted. So I don't think Doc's playing around with his rotations this year.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, to answer Abe's question, you may see it down the line where Shake or Maxey don't get playing time here. You just run in George Hill, who's got the playoff experience, got the, the championship experience, at least, playing in the finals. So you're going to see George Hill in the rotation. I don't see his minutes going down. I could only see them going up at this point, just because of his experience. So I think if we see Shake, continuously, because these first 3 games have been disgusting by Shake. It's been disgusting.
It's been hard.
He's like tripping over his own feet, throwing the ball out of bounds.
He looks lost.
Crazy.
He looks lost. Like he doesn't know where he is.
Fouls called on him, like just turning the ball over, not shooting confidently. He's got that flatline jumper right now again.
Oh, so
you know
bad.
what I mean? You can always tell when Shake's in a slump because the jumper is not getting over the rim.
Nope.
No arc on the jumper.
Like a
But
flat line.
Is it crazy to me to say this because, they are up 3-0 and they've had big leads in 2 of the first 3 where the starters haven't had to play in the fourth quarter. But is it crazy to me to say, like, it's not just affecting him. When he's coming in on the floor, it's like a ripple down effect, the entire bench unit, not for a long period of time, because obviously it's not affecting the game to that extent, but to where like the entire team, the negative energy is just there when he comes on the floor, and then his shoulders are up here and he's all pouty because he's in a slump, and I can't take it right now, dude. I can't.
Yeah, especially a game where you shoot like 0 for 6 from the field. Like those games, it's just ripple. It's ripple down effect.
-14,
And everyone else was
minutes.
positive.
And everyone else was positive.
Yep.
You understand how difficult? You don't understand like the negative impact.
That was terrible. Terrible.
That is a cork moss stat line that I would out to you. And Shake Milton, everyone's supposed 6th man of the year. George, I know you lost some money.
Yeah, put a little bit of money on that.
Drinking the Kool-Aid there.
Everyone drank it. We gassed them up a lot. We did. Of course, I drank the Kool-Aid. I did.
I didn't bet on it or anything, but I did. I thought he had a chance at 6 man.
Especially with Doc's like in the past with 6 men, like he always utilizing them well. It's like throw a little bit of money on it. Didn't work out. Yup, exactly. Didn't work out.
Oh man.
The Jamal Crawford, Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers.
High hopes.
Man. I'm sorry, I'm getting so distracted down
Do you
here.
want to go?
Got 4-wheelers now.
Dude, over and over again.
Do you want to do?
We should do this more often.
What's up? Yeah, next series. I
Yeah,
can't wait to watch Milwaukee and Brooklyn when they wrap up against Boston. Beat the shit out of each other. You okay, man?
He almost fell.
You need to hold the broom for balance.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch that matchup.
Hopefully go to 7.
The Hawks are going to take out the Knicks soon.
That would be great.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Best thing I've heard all day.
It's the most ideal situation. That series goes to 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially saying that the Nets are. Funny to say that the Nets are struggling with the Celtics, but the Celtics are not just going down. I mean, they're beating them,
But
they're just not just like laying down. Like
Yeah.
Tatum's giving it everything he's got, dude. He's gonna go down swinging.
And you're kind of seeing like more and more like I don't know about you guys if you watched last game, but the Nets are making like stupid little decisions, just like not really controlling the ball really well on some possessions. It's like that's the stuff you like to see because I haven't seen stuff like that from the Sixers starting five all series. It's been
Even though you
consistency.
have to play defense to win a
Yeah, the
championship,
defense.
Yep.
And Tristan Thompson dominating them on the glass.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if he can do that, imagine what the Sixers can do with their size. Imagine what the Bucks can do.
Ben's gonna
Yep.
feel that.
So can I say this right now? And I've said this on the Daily Dose before, but I want to say it here since we're out here at Xfinity Live and the Sixers are going to pull out the sweep tonight to advance to round 2. You're not going to have to worry about the Brooklyn Nets because they're not beating the Milwaukee Bucks.
And
I'm telling you,
I'm on that bandwagon as well.
The Bucks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals and coming right here.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this. All right.
What you got?
So normally, in most cases, I would agree with you, but there's something about when you get Greek Freak in the playoffs. He's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's been invited to like 30-something weddings and he's never gotten proposed to yet. And it's like he's got all the rings, but he just never happens to make it down the aisle. He's just like a runaway bride. When he runs into KD and he has to check KD, Giannis doesn't want to check the best player on the team. Like we've watched kind of like how KD's starting to now play Tatum a lot more and it's kind of slowing Tatum down. Giannis doesn't want to do that. So who do you put on KD? Do you put Middleton on him? Because he's going to murk Middleton. And I'm from South Carolina, I'm telling you that. He's going to murk his ass. So you can't put – but you'll put on him.
I think defensively, the Bucks, I think they match up pretty well. I mean, I get that, but I think KD's going to murk 98% of this league. So that's kind of the thing going into every matchup. When you look at the size and length of this Bucks team, when you throw in Drew Holiday, who, you know, people were mocking them for that trade and giving up all their future assets.
Drop the bag.
He has been huge to that team right now. DiVincenzo, that injury hurts. But I think they match up incredibly well with the Bucks. I think the Bucks can't play a lick of defense. Not to mention, everyone talks about offense with this big three. Didn't the Bucks average a league high like 120, 121 points this year? So the Bucks are fine offensively.
Oh, for sure.
So they can go basket for basket with this Nets team, and it's going to come down to defense. I know people don't. You know, they just look at this big three and then all the offensive potential, and they can drop 80 together every night. That's fantastic. You're not winning a championship or going on a deep playoff run without playing defense. Yes, they beat the Boston Celtics last night. They gave up 126 points to the Boston Celtics last night.
Without Kemba Walker, without Jaylen Brown.
Exactly.
I was going to let that ride.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
Because you can get away with that against the Boston Celtics. And it gets back to your Greek Freak point. I agree with you, man. But something's different this year. And I can't sit here and say how there's been a difference with the Sixers team and not acknowledge that there's a difference with Giannis and the Bucks so far when they just swept, the Miami Heat. And I'm a believer, and I've said this to you, I think, before Scotty and George, that the Heat greatly overachieved last year in the bubble. But, we're talking about differences. How, positive for Giannis, positive for the Sixers, negative this year with Jimmy Butler, who was a NBA worse out of 206 players in the postseason with a net with a plus minus of like minus 23.5, 24.5.
That's nasty.
The worst.
He had a
There's
horrible
lot of
series.
going on. What I'm trying to get to is there's a lot of differences, whether it's positive with some teams and players, negative with some teams and players going on this year. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, Giannis and the Bucks haven't proved it yet, and he always chokes in the playoffs. And I agree with you, and that could definitely happen again. But I'm not going to say that's the reason why they won't beat the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, and I guess where I would follow up on that, and I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate as well. To be completely honest with you, in a Bucks-Nets series, it's hard for me to pick a winner right now. I could point out reasons why each team should beat each other, why each team should beat the other. But what I would say just with Giannis is also that the Bucks have went away from running the offense through him. They run the offense through a plethora of different guys. They run it through Chris Middleton. They started with Drew Holiday. They get a lot of different guys involved opening up that offense now. And it's not as reliant on Giannis and his one-on-one and getting to the paint. Now, obviously, I think to beat the Nets, Giannis is going to have to do even better than what he did against the Miami Heat. That wasn't enough.
Easy.
That wasn't enough. It was enough against the Heat, the Heat with their stars playing like not stars, right? Bam and Jimmy did not look like stars in that series. And that was the difference in the series because you had Drew Holiday show up. You had Chris Middleton show up. And then Giannis, he put a little bit below his average of numbers, just from what I saw there. But I think this is a different Bucks team, like Dylan was saying. I do think the Dante DiVincenzo injury will hurt them. That's a legit perimeter defender, and they're going to need as many of those as they can get against the Nets.
Well, you brought up stars, right? But that's why you're seeing this New York Knicks team struggling right now and about to be bounced. Because look, Atlanta, everyone kind of dismissed that series, right? And I know I'm jumping all around here, but that's what I take from the stars. New York doesn't have a star. The D-Rose, reincarnation period has been fun and cool to watch. Julius Randle has been a train wreck so far after winning that most improved player award. And then
throw a stat in there really quick? 27.4% field goal percentage for Julius Randle in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, that
under 30%.
That is ridiculous.
That's what Jimmy was. That's what Jimmy was.
From a guy that people said give him consideration for MVP votes. To 27% in the playoffs.
But that's what it comes down to, man, to be honest with you. So that's why the Sixers, after they complete the sweep tonight, will be playing Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, and not the New York Knicks. And I can't wait to play. Thank you.
I'm excited to play Ice Train.
Yeah, and there's a real chance that we could sweep that team still too.
Yeah, I can't wait to put that 6'10" monster on him. It's gonna be like Monstars playing against Michael Jordan. But
So Scotty sent this tweet, or was talking about this tweet with us the other night from a Hawks fan, right? Because now they're getting their beer muscles on.
We want Philly chants coming in.
No, not even that. That's just asking. I asked Washington Wizards how we want Philly's how is going for them. But when it comes to their fan base, that one tweet that said that they think that the Hawks really have a chance to beat the Sixers team in seven. Timeout. Read that. Read it.
Come on.
In 7. Do you understand the lack of confidence you have going into a series? If you go, yeah, you could beat them in 7.
You mean 7 games that? So if you don't get swept in the first 4,
right?
Okay, got it.
They could beat them in 7 in a set. If it gets to game 7. Oh. Well, you have a lot of confidence back in your team, bud. Come on.
Get to game 5. Get to game 5.
That was what he said for real. That was
Scotty's got
the Wizards. The Wizards could have beat us in 7 too.
Hell, everybody can beat anybody in 7 if you get the 7 games.
That's what the 7-game series is for.
I wonder if that Washington announcer is taking back a little bit of what he said earlier.
The Ben Simmons is the most overrated player.
I was in Maryland, and so I got the DC coverage when I was watching the game on Saturday, and I got to hear this clown just kind of backtrack everything that he said, and just totally going, he's lowered himself at this point. They understand what's going on in Washington. Their commentators, their post-game analysis is talking about our players, talking about how good our players are. They know what's up there. He knows what's up there. I'm sure he feels like an asshole after saying all that stuff about Ben Simmons.
But does he though? Does he
though? Probably not. He got real popular off of it.
Think about this. If let's say Allah and all of them are talking about, let's say Jimmy. One time we played Jimmy. Jimmy was going on. That doesn't feel good. You gotta have some shade thrown to the other team. If you don't, you kind of sell out.
I feel that.
He doesn't feel bad. People are probably joking on him and calling out his tweets.
He just knows he's dead wrong. He knows he's dead wrong.
Ben Simmons is averaging almost a triple double right now.
That's why I love the fact that all these people constantly talk trash about this guy constantly. They just drag him through the mud, and yet still he is in charge of 90% of our offense because the offense runs through him to Joel. Or he stops almost everybody we put on. Nobody's cooked him this year.
He's the best guy for basketball arguments because you either feel one way or the other about him, and it's perfect. Everyone.
Well, Stephen A. said this morning. I was watching First Take for a bit, and he brought up they were talking about the almighty Brooklyn Nets, of course, and who poses the biggest threat to them.
New Jersey Nets.
Represent.
Who poses the biggest threat to them, and they brought up the Sixers and the Bucks, obviously, and he said how. It won't be it's not the Sixers because they play 4-on-5 basketball and the half court because of Ben Simmons. And I'm like, that's just not true. You haven't watched an ounce. Stephen A. used to cover. Stephen A. worked in this town, in this city for how many years? Over a decade. Right. Covering this team and the teams in this city. you clearly haven't watched much of the team in this city this year because that's just not the case. Yet last year, 100%, right?
Sure.
Doc Rivers puts him in a position in that dunker spot when he's off ball. You have to pay attention to him. It's not 4-on-5 because his man can't double. Oh, well, he doesn't shoot. It doesn't matter. He's in the spot. He's in, the painted area. He's around the rim. He has to be guarded. So that philosophy, that idea is just not the case, and it bothers me so bad. And I love every second I'm watching of Ben Simmons this series because, like I said, there's been guys different games to step up. In my opinion, he's been the most consistent through the first 3 games in a Sixers uniform. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the 2-5. Let me ask you guys this real quick on this Ben conversation. Do you think he needs something extra? Or is it just
what do you mean by that?
Yes. Do you think he needs something extra to get him going?
That chip on his shoulder?
I do. I do tend to feel that way. Now, I guess my counter question would be, what is driving him this playoff series? Is it just the talk that he's going to be the weakest link,
that
of
announcer,
the Sixers?
all the talk? Yeah.
Honestly, I think after that 6-point game where he had 15 and 15 with it, he went 0 for 6 from the line. Everyone was just talking about that. They're talking about 6 points. They're talking about 0 for 6 from the line. Next game he goes out, bodies Russ off the bat, aggressive to the paint, and just absolutely controls the entire offense. Like, it's stuff like that 110% drives Simmons. He definitely sees all of the talk. He sees what everyone's saying in those situations.
What do you think?
I love this part. This is the part that nobody needs to drop Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' role to our team is we can't measure it because there's never been a player like him. He's bigger than most point guards, even Magic Johnson. He does things that people don't really think he can do. He plays defense on guys that are small and big. Yeah. He's the closest thing we got to LeBron James. Like, he's the closest thing we got outside of a jump shot. But the role that he plays on our team isn't the primary scorer. He can have 6 points and we still win because we built around him to make everything work. That's the genius that is Doc Rivers and the genius that is Daryl Morey. Okay, well, Ben, we don't want you to feel like you're forced to score. When Doc says, I don't care about him scoring, he means it because he doesn't need to. We've schemed
he
up.
ain't blowing smoke.
He ain't blowing smoke. Like,
No.
Doc Rivers is not one to hold his tongue. Like, he's had Rondo, he's had other players. So let's just take him at his word and say, he's got this.
Yeah.
He's fine. We're fine.
I agree. It's just something interesting, bro, because like it does seem like when Ben does go out and dominate, you see that look in his eye, and when he slams and then flexes and lets out a yell. It always seems like there is something behind the story. But I agree. I kind of think he does. Like, dude, MJ was a sociopath, and like
not literally.
MJ needed something.
He needed it.
Create shit in his own mind. That's not Ben. Ben doesn't go out and create these crazy narratives to go take someone's head off. But it does seem there's been Kendall Jenner stuff. There's been talk about his game. The trade. Remember around the trade deadline?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So I just feel like when he has matchups with Donovan Mitchell, remember that Jazz performance earlier in the year? And the Defensive Player of the Year argument with Rudy Gobert. It just always seems like the game Ben, like you look at stat line and say, God damn. Oh, wait. This was a tidbit in the story.
But was that him? But like what I'm saying is that's not really him though. That's the narrative that's already out there about him. Right. He's not like, like something like, I'm a big college football guy. And a lot of times, like the coaches are pulling, like Nick Saban is a big guy. He's always pulling bulletin board material. I don't think the bulletin board material is out, and I just think he doesn't listen to it. I think he hears it maybe, but Ben is like a stubborn person. I
think he listened to a game too though.
You think so?
110%.
I think he scored 6, like Georgia said. I think he scored 6 points, and he dropped 15 and 15.
And everyone was like,
with 6 points though. Like, think about how crazy that is.
How much did you hear about the free throws after that game? Yeah. It was insane.
Came out and took their heads off in the first.
My other end of the combo, and part of me feels like he does need something to drive him, and then part of me does feel like he is just kind of stubborn. There's a reason, that Jimmy Butler had the little beef with Ben Simmons supposedly. There is a little bit of stubbornness there as a young player. And he's been the best player he's everywhere he's went, right? So he's going to have that confidence, even a little bit of that cockiness. But another part of it is that this team is just better built. It's better ran.
Sure.
It fits his style more. It fits Embiid's style more. It fits Tobias Harris' style more. So when you put shooters around Ben, you're going to see these high assist totals because he loves passing it out.
3-point assists.
By the way,
3-point assists.
Those acquired 3-point snipers have already showed their importance.
Yeah.
Every move Daryl Morey has made
Yeah.
so far has shown its importance within the first 3 games of the postseason.
Yeah.
Danny Green,
George Hill,
Danny
too,
Green,
with it.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
one of them, right? So
That was a big move.
Danny Green
Very
just
big.
dropped 15. Seth was a key anchor in the third quarter of game 1. He had like 17 or
He's
whatever.
been the 4th best player.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Seth also was shooting well in game 3. The entire team did, but that's not the point. And then George Hill, like George just said, has shown his importance the first 3 games as well. Just that calming presence.
You know who really
off the
feels
bench.
the missing of Seth is those freaking Mavericks.
Mavericks,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
see how important Seth is, go look at the Mavericks now. Look at
Thank
them.
you so much for that. He really
they don't
is.
even play to do. He doesn't get no
Crazy.
time for it.
Dude, this
That
that's
trade was
another
amazing.
point, dude.
Trade was amazing.
That trade is Seth Curry essentially for Josh Richardson.
Yeah.
If it wasn't here.
Yeah.
Then the first trade, you got rid of Al Horford. Basically, you just swapped Al Horford for Danny Green, and Danny Green was like a cash, like a to fill the
cap.
the cap, like a cap fill. I'm like,
Thanks.
dude, it's worked out perfectly, and it's the reason. They're all reasons that the Sixers are about to break those bad boys out tonight.
You're missing really, and I'm gonna throw this to George. What about Dwight Howard?
Oh, dude. The
He's been
veteran.
terrible this series.
Yeah, but still, like all season.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like all season, he's the veteran guy. He's an NBA champion, and having him behind Embiid instead of Al Horford is just a huge step up for everybody all around. Like that move is also huge. Every single move that he has made, like Dylan said, has been done factors for us. Lights out. It's been amazing. Bringing him in here with Doc has just this whole franchise just flipped the switch. Like bang, the brand new team.
Does that really show that Harden's that bad? Because he just had
No.
Harden and Russ.
What are the Rockets' worst record in the NBA?
That's
Harden effect.
That's terrible. I mean, I'm not saying, and nobody, don't at me and start stoning me for saying this. Because Charles Barkley said that Harden was the best one-on-one player he'd ever seen, and they lit him up. But I'm thinking about that one-on-one game that we keep saying that we love to watch. That's a ball stopper. I was a point guard in school. I hated ball stoppers. I love the ball running slowly, flowing through the offense. He's a ball stopper, and I just think at some point in the game, that's gonna come to bite Brooklyn.
That's what I always say about Ben Simmons. If you're playing at a pickup gym, he's going to be the first player that you pick because he's going to play defense and he's going to pass the ball. Nobody that plays basketball wants to play with the ball hawk. It doesn't get you involved. It doesn't build confidence. It doesn't build chemistry. But one thing I wanted to toss to you guys, and it was kind of just before we move on, but any negatives from this series against the Wizards? Now, for me, obviously, the Ben Simmons free throws, you don't want it to turn into something, right? It's not that big a deal. Like, if you're having to pick negatives here and there, then, of course, that's one you point to. But is there anything else that sticks out to you guys as far as a negative effect? I guess you could say shake.
Yeah,
that's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, if I have one on Doc Rivers at all, and again, it's the Washington Wizards, so he probably knows he can get away with that right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping it changes throughout the course of this playoff run, is the hockey shift bench.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
5 in, 5 out for 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. You can't do it, dude. You can't. They are brutal to watch when, they're in it happened in game 3, right? We keep talking about how this bench has held on to leads. Yeah, they have, right? In the fourth quarter, they've held on to the 20-plus point leads. But how about in the second quarter when the Sixers were up by 13 or 14, 15 in the second quarter? 5 out, 5 in, 4-point game.
4-point game.
Off the bat.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
Damn.
So that's just the one negative, and I'm hoping that going forward as the series, as you get deeper, that won't happen. I think he just knows he can get away with it. But I'll throw a huge positive to you real quick. Alternatively, with that bench is the fact that the starters have not had to play the fourth quarter of the last 2 games.
They played 2 games really.
Pretty insane.
That's it. They played 2 games. Going into the 4th game tonight, and
Game 1.
And if Russ doesn't play, they might only play at half.
Yeah.
I think it's great how it gets to a point where in the third quarter we're up by so much, but it's like kind of got to keep playing your starters a little bit, get them a little more time, and then the fourth quarter you can sit them. Like that's how it's been the last.
Just to get them some run.
Because you got to you can't get them rusty. But yeah,
even you look at Embiid first game, he went through foul trouble, so he didn't get his due diligence in that close game.
Yep.
So,
but like the Ben free throws, it's definitely a concern. But until it loses us a game, he'll work on it. I don't know if he's 0 for his last 9.
I think 9.
Like I don't think he's done that in his career. That's a bad stretch, but it's in his head. Yeah, and I'm not too worried about Ben Simmons on the line. Like I feel like at some point, unless it loses us a game, then we can start being concerned about it. And then it's Shake just being absolutely brutal this whole series. But besides that, and like the shifts, like everything's been so well. It's been so good.
No negative vibes around here.
Yeah, we got the broom out. Come on, boys.
Yeah, before we get to the end of the show, let's turn it back to Game 4 tonight. What are your guys' predictions, Shady? I'll throw this to you first. Just predictions and what happens tonight for the Sixers to sweep the Washington Wizards.
What has to happen?
Yeah, or what's going to happen?
Just more of what we've seen for the last 3 games. I'm very. Tomorrow when I get my Philadelphia Inquirer, I want it to read sweep in ...
You still read the paper?
I'm the old guy. I still read the paper. I still grab it. I still look for the headlines. That's what we do on my show. Sometimes we say, what's going to be tomorrow's headline? So if you don't read the newspaper, what's going to be tomorrow's headline on ESPN?
Just more of the same.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow up. Just kind of things I'm looking for in the game. Because in my eyes, I already told you guys, this is a dub. Sweep them, get them out of here, get some rest before this next series. It looks like the Hawks are going to be closing out the Knicks here soon. So that series may be here before we know it. And what I'm looking for, I just want them to pounce early. Don't play any of that tag around in the second quarter where they're trying to catch up. They get it down, in a single-digit lead. Take care of them early, right? Yeah. Like, get them out of here. Get the guys on the bench, get the starters on the bench, and then control the three-point line like we've been doing. We've been dominating the Wizards at the three-point line. And the only other thing I'm looking for, just continue to single out Beal and Russ. Let them do whatever they want. It's not going to win them the game. They need to get other guys involved. If we keep limiting everybody outside of Russ and Beal, the series is over tonight. So I'm just looking for us to keep building confidence.
So real quick, George, the one thing you said that I agree wholeheartedly with is I don't even know if this Wizards team has any more life. I think they're dead already. But just step on their throats early and don't let off until the fourth quarter, until the end of the fourth quarter. Because that's it. Take them out of this game early. Don't let them breathe. Don't let them get any life early, any confidence early. Even though I really don't think that's going to matter, dude. They're starting Bertans again. They're starting Gafford for the first time. Russ may or may not play.
The lineup's
They're
laughable.
trying a bunch of different things to try to steal a game at home. And then the other thing is the one thing that I think the Sixers have done a great job at this series is finding and exploiting the mismatches offensively. I think you've seen it all series, whether, Ben's doing it offensively. Ben in the low post, if he's got a smaller Bradley Beal on him, if he's got a Russell Westbrook on him, he's calling for the ball. They're establishing him down low. Tobias continues to find mismatches. Joe, whether it's they're throwing a double team early, throwing it late, he's either, just too dominant and getting to the rack anyway, or he's finding the open man off that double team. They have done a great job at finding and exploiting the mismatches size-wise offensively. And I just hope that continues tonight. And if it does, that's a wrap.
Yeah, they just it was weird last game, just throwing out there. They didn't really double Embiid much, at all. And I don't know if they thought that was.
I think that's because they tried to.
Brainy, it was insane. It was very weird because then he was just exploiting everyone he was up against. But yeah, foot on the gas early, just like the last 3 games. Foot on the gas early, stay consistent. Your 3-point shooting has been well, and they've been great perimeter defense this whole entire series. So as long as you do your job that you had the last 3 games, don't go out there and shoot the ball like shit. This should be an easy dub, every single game. I mean, stay consistent. Don't keep them in the game. Don't let them come back second half, anytime like that. Stay consistent, and this should be an easy closeout, easy sweep.
Off my opening statement from today, just about how they're different, and they feel different, and they're playing different, and not just the fact that they're going to and they can sweep the Washington Wizards tonight. It's how they're doing. You're right,
Yeah.
Scotty. You said it earlier. Game 1 was ugly. It was nerve wracking. Embiid got in foul trouble. Washington blew their one chance of stealing a game
That was it.
early in the series, and that didn't happen. And that's all she wrote, right? But it's the way the Sixers are handling business. It's not the fact that they're up 3-0. It's the fact that they've had now 2 straight 48-minute performances, 2 straight load management, classic good old-fashioned load management in the fourth quarter, blowout wins, establishing themselves early, as George just said, and not letting their foot off the gas. They're different, dude. I'll tell you that. And just I'll lead off the predictions here if that's what you guys want to get
Let's
to.
do
now.
it.
Sixers win tonight easily. They haven't put up under 120 points this series, and I don't think that starts tonight. I think that the Sixers win 124 to 108. Cover the
Okay.
spread.
Cover the
Good
spread.
teams
It's all that
win.
matters.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
Yes, sir. All right. So yeah, I'm on that boat. Over 120, definitely. I have Sixers 123 to 101. Easy win. Cruising.
Me.
Cruise
All
control.
right, so the Sixers, based on my numbers here, averaging almost 126 points per game in this series. We mentioned it, in other shows. Number 2 defensive team in the league, after regular season going into the playoffs. They're going to stomp the Wizards out tonight. It's going to be a blowout. They're going to hit that 120-point mark no matter how many minutes the starters play, because the second unit's been coming in and picking up right where they left off in that second half. I'm with you guys. I think it's over 120, and I don't think the Wizards break 100 points today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They will cover the spread for you, but it's going to be well over the spread in my eyes.
Listen, I'm not a betting man. I want to let you guys know that straight up. But I have a really good feeling if you are betting for the Sixers say you will cover your spread. JD Oracle has this to put out there real quick. So when we first got here, I'll show you guys real quick. When we first got here, there was no cars in the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
0.
Now we're here, and I want you guys to see what we got going on. It's a full, packed out. This ain't even a home game, guys. We're looking. See if I can get that back.
Hopefully you can switch it up and come here for a home game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some people going.
So I'm gonna say right now, I'll say win 30.
Damn.
What everybody said
Again?
and what everybody said the Nets are gonna do this playoffs, the Sixers have done. And they're not even an offensive-minded team. I think they will get over 130. I think everybody gets in. I think we even get to see Mr. Joe come in and get some buckets. So yeah, So when I don't think they break 100 either. I think it's about a 30-point win for us.
Well, that'll definitely get the people here at Xfinity Live fired up tonight. I don't care how they win this one. I want them to close the series out tonight. But I do just wholeheartedly, my confidence level in this team right now is sky high. And yeah, man, I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, same.
And just so we know, heads up, your wife just said that you guys are missing the free gear in Xfinity Live. So if you guys are in the area, you guys are not having anything else to do, come out here and meet us out here at Xfinity Live. We'll be out here getting fan reactions and all that stuff throughout the night, and I'll put it on the DSM Media page.
Absolutely. So, guys, before we wrap up tonight, go follow DSM Media on Twitch. Go follow us on YouTube right now, where we're streaming live from. It's important to us. We're almost. I think we were at 199. I really want to get to that 200 mark.
Get us to
We're
200.
doing giveaways. We still haven't selected a winner for that Joel Embiid City Edition T-shirt.
Oh.
So we'll push back the date a little bit more. If you guys go subscribe to DSM Media on YouTube, you will be entered for a chance to win the Joel Embiid City Edition T-shirt, and we will be doing more giveaways. Going forward with this Sixers playoff run. So yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's all
Go
I'm gonna do.
Sixers.
Let's go Sixers.
Ring that bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Yes.
Jeez, thank you.